7 nights in the jungle. The stories of the cursed jungle were whispered in hushed tones around campfires, but Chris and his friends laughed them off. Adventurers by heart, they set off into the dense forest, armed with little more than cameras, tents, and a sense of invincibility. 7 nights, they promised. 7 nights in the jungle known as Blackwood Haven. The first night was almost peaceful. The moon hung low, casting its silver glow through the thick canopy. As the group sat around their campfire, exchanging ghost stories, the sound of distant drums echoed. "It's just local villagers," Chris said, brushing it off, but the rhythm wasn't random. It pulsed like a heartbeat, faster and faster before abruptly stopping. Silence swallowed the jungle, leaving the group uneasy. The morning brought some relief. They explored, finding strange carvings etched into trees. Spirals, eyes, and symbols they couldn't decipher. By nightfall, an odd mist crept into their camp. It was thick, almost sentient, muffling their voices and extinguishing the fire. Then came the whispers, soft and unintelligible. "Is someone out there?" Maya asked, clutching her flashlight. But when the light fell on the mist, it swirled violently, retreating like a living thing. The group's nerves were frayed. Jake, the skeptic, decided to set up cameras around the camp. "We'll see what's really going on," he said. At midnight, a blood-curdling scream tore through the jungle. Everyone bolted out of their tents, but no one was missing. The cameras caught nothing except shadows darting too quickly to be human.
Chris woke up to find symbols carved into the ground around their tents. None of them had done it. The carvings matched the ones they'd seen earlier. Later, while trekking, they discovered an abandoned hut. Inside were rotting animal bones and jars filled with something unrecognizable. A diary lay on the table, its last entry reading, "They come when you're weak. Don't look into their eyes." One by one, they started hearing voices. Familiar ones. Maya heard her mother calling. Jake heard his sister. But when they followed the voices, they only found themselves circling back to camp, cold and confused. That night, they set watches. During Chris's shift, he saw a figure at the edge of the firelight. It was Maya, or at least it looked like her. But she was asleep in her tent. The figure smiled and faded into the darkness. Food was running low. Tension turned to arguments. They accused each other of sabotaging the trip. By evening, Jake went missing. They found his camera near a tree, the lens cracked. The footage showed him walking into the jungle, mumbling, "She's waiting for me," over and over. Only Chris and Maya remained. They decided to leave at dawn, but the jungle seemed to conspire against them. Trails that once led out now looped back. The final night was suffocatingly dark. No moon, no stars. The whispers became screams, and shadowy figures circled their camp. Chris held Maya's hand tightly, whispering, "Don't look at them." but the figures drew closer. Their faces were blank, their eyes deep pits. When dawn broke, only Chris staggered out of the jungle. His hair had turned white, and his eyes were hollow. He never spoke of what happened on the seventh night, but on his arm, a new symbol had been etched, a spiral. They say if you enter Blackwood Haven and survive, the jungle never truly lets you go.